Can we agree that if we have a 3v3 basketball tournament, that Flight Mike is going to be our enforcer?
I think it would happen accidentally, honestly. I mean, this man throws guys through the window.
I know.
With no problems.
So long as we celebrate at Papados after the dub, yeah.
Oh my God. That's a low blow. Hey, that's a low blow.
Bro, I love Papados. Like, I used to go there as a kid. Their fries were fire.
What's up, guys, and welcome to the Laced Up Podcast. I am here with
Flight Mike.
GetLikeCoop. What's going on, guys?
And I am Mike Korzemba. And today, guys, I'm very excited to talk about the Hawks. I'm very excited to talk about the Sixers because I have a question for you. Do you think Trae Young is taking a leap before our eyes against the Sixers? Do you think that he is ascending into star/superstar status? I mean, the man is averaging around 28 points and 11 assists per game against the top seed in the East right now as, a 22-year-old? Like, this is kind of crazy.
Yeah, and he's doing it against a lot of people's self-proclaimed DPOY. So the 76ers defense is no joke. As a matter of fact, they actually had 3 players on the all-defensive teams, Thibault, Simmons, and Joel Embiid. So when you look at the Atlanta Hawks, like, they don't have a lot of creators. Trae Young is just kind of that guy for them. He has to do so much for that Hawks offense, and he's just been kind of killing it lately. I mean, last game, 25 points, 18 assists, 8 of 26. You know, not the most efficient game, but when you look at how teams are guarding him, bro, he's definitely cooking.
Yeah, I mean, they're at this point, you know, what's impressive to me about Trae is the way that he's been able to adjust his game mid-game. I love that he's attacking the rim with no fear and doing it in a way that's so effective for the defense, against the defense, because when you watch Trae play, I mean, his floater game is so filthy. Like, I was watching it, I tweeted it out last night and then deleted it because it got absolutely 0 likes. But Trae Young's floater game, like, he attacks with what I like to say is an aggressive floater. Like, he is coming at the rim full force and just tosses that up, and that makes it so difficult for the center to defend because you have to really full on commit to really defend, potentially block or alter a floater. And once you commit, Trae just dumps that off to Clint Capella or John Collins or whoever's down there. Automatic dunk. I mean, I'm sure you guys were watching the game. That pass that he had to John Collins in the corner towards the end of the fourth quarter, when he drew the defense and then whipped it out to the corner. Okay,
that pass was a little unnecessary. He kind of had the read.
Sick.
It was a sick pass. It was a sick pass.
I thought that was
a sick pass. It was. Wait, you don't think it was sick?
No, I thought that was super sick.
Oh yeah. It was a nasty pass, but he had John Collins a second earlier before he went to the layup, so it was a little unnecessary, but it was a hard pass nonetheless.
Yeah, I think probably the best part about Trae Young is how unnecessary he can be. You know, like bowing at MSG, someone spat on him. He like reveled in it. So, but just to take a little bit of a different approach here, I'm going to get a lot of hate in the comments. So if you're watching this on YouTube, go to the comment section, get ready. But
we love to preface this.
Yeah,
every single time we're like, we're going to get hate, you know?
Oh, yeah,
okay,
for real.
So I honestly, as remarkable as Trae Young is, I don't think he took that big of a step forward from last year to this year. I think the defining factor that completely changed everything for the Atlanta Hawks is their executive, Travis Schlenk. This man was an absolute beast from not this year's trade deadline, but last year's trade deadline, the acquisition of Clint Capella, all the way to acquiring Danilo Gallinari, going out and poaching Bogdan Bogdanovic, a player that we all thought was going to go to the Milwaukee Bucks in the offseason. He surrounded Trae Young with like the perfect supporting cast. And ultimately, I think that yielded the ultimate reward. And bear in mind, a lot of these players are still not fully developed, in my opinion. Like Cam Reddish isn't developed. DeAndre Hunter still has a ways to go. Even like I know Chris Dunn isn't like a huge part of the team, but like the acquisition of Chris Dunn and the acquisition of Lou Williams at the trade deadline.
You just named the weirdest names, like Kevin Herter, let's talk about John.
There's a lot. I wasn't finished. I wasn't finished though. I was trying
to name the guys that aren't playing.
Let him finish. Let him finish. I want to hear this.
I love showing love to the people that most people would probably ignore, so that's kind of what I'm doing here. I mean, I'm talking about the roster construction currently, not necessarily like each player's individual.
How about Nate McMillan? If we're going to give all those players props, let's give my guy Nate McMillan props for helping to turn around this Atlanta Hawks team. They were somewhat down bad. I don't want to say fully down bad, but they were struggling until Nate McMillan really got going. Now, Nate McMillan's known for being a sound defensive coach. Offensively, he gives you what he gives you. He doesn't give you the most sometimes, but when you pair Nate McMillan, a defensive coach, with a guy like Trae Young, a playmaker like Trae Young, you can watch some magic happen, and I feel like that's what we're kind of seeing in this series.
Yeah, so guys, we are capping off the giveaway to the first 40,000 subscribers that turn on our notifications for the Laced Up podcast. All you have to do to enter for a chance to win a PlayStation 5 or an Xbox Series X is subscribe, hit that notification bell. If you want to do us a favor, leave a like on the pod and let me know in the comment section down below when it's done. You'll enter for a chance to win a PlayStation 5 or an Xbox Series X.
Yeah, what a turnaround. We've got a 20-win team last year that now has 41 wins this year in a shortened season, which is absolutely ridiculous already. One point I do want to make on top of, all the praise that we're giving the Hawks is I do want to say that I disagree with you, Mike, in the fact that Trae Young didn't improve. I think that his mentality in terms of how he approaches a basketball game has improved tremendously. I mean, the talent with Trae Young has always been there, of course. I mean, the man, all-star game starter last year and averaged 30 points per game. So, that's, crazy. But I think he is much more aware of getting his teammates involved, much more aware of, being the type of floor general that you need to win basketball games. I mean, the fact that they just absolutely smoked the Knicks and now are tied 2-2 against the Sixers, which I don't think many people saw coming at all. Like previously mentioned, like Coop said, who is the secondary playmaker on this team? This is all on Trae Young's shoulders. It's kind of like a Luka situation, and taking nothing against Luka here, but Trae's got shooters. Trae's got Clint Capella. Trae's got John Collins. Trae's got options around him, and he is making it work. And I've been super impressed by him.
So, honestly, go ahead, Coop.
No, you got this one, Mike. My bad.
So honestly, like, when I look at Trae Young, his career trajectory reminds me of James Harden when he first got to Houston. At least the way he's being used and the way the Hawks are building around him, that's what I'm seeing. Maybe it's the parallel I see with Clint Capella and the shooters surrounding him, but I would really just take notes on what Daryl Morey did in Houston and try to integrate that with Trae. So what happens when you get another player that could be a primary ball handler that could run the pick and roll in addition to what Trae Young already brings to the Atlanta Hawks? That's, at least in my opinion, how this team could take the next step and literally push to the top of the East as the de facto team that would challenge the Brooklyn Nets for Eastern supremacy.
We can
see them play this year.
No, I was just gonna say, in my opinion, I think that kind of just comes down to Cam Reddish developing. I think that kind of comes down to DeAndre Hunter going to the next level. I think they have guys on the roster that are capable of taking that next step. We just kind of have to see it. This team is incredibly young. They're incredibly talented. And also, they're going to be faced with some incredibly tough decisions.
What are what decisions?
They got a lot of talent.
They got a lot of talent, and they got a lot of guys that are going to have to get paid. Just right off the roster right now. So I definitely agree with, I would like to see a secondary ball handler, just because, the load is going to get heavy for Trae, of course. I mean, he's doing great right now. He's killing it. it gets tough sometimes though. Like you even saw last night against Philly, like sometimes they just, run a double team at him literally at half court, and they're like kind of the Hawks didn't really know fully what to do. There was a lot of ugly basketball at the end of that game on both sides, and I think we should definitely get into the Sixers in a second. However, looking at this roster, what do you guys think that a potential move has to be made in order to get a secondary ball handler? Because if you look, all right, you've got Trae, 22 years old, Kevin Huerter, 22, Clint Capella, 26, DeAndre Hunter, 23, John Collins, 23, Cam Reddish, 21. Now, I think guys like Cam, Huerter, DeAndre Hunter, they're all, different players in their own right, but I'm not sure if any of those guys is going to develop into that secondary ball handler or a guy that's really going to create for their teammates that you would want. What do you guys think?
And I'll say that, Cam Reddish has had kind of a bumpy start to his career. This might be one of those cases to where like Cam Reddish gets traded and then he develops into, that secondary ball handler, that primary ball handler, whatever.
It's a weird thing where they have you got it.
I also think they attempted to acquire that secondary ball handler when they signed Rajon Rondo, and then they ultimately traded him.
Yeah, which would be, I'd say, a temporary fix, of course, because, Rondo's up there, not even getting up there at this point in age. But I do think, though, it's super impressive when we talk about Cam Reddish. And, Cam Reddish with the Achilles, it's tough. DeAndre Hunter, knee injuries, also, tough. Meniscus, hopefully comes back. But it's super impressive that this team is doing this with DeAndre Hunter on the bench. I would, watching. Because Hunter this season, looking at him in his second year, averaged 15 points, shot about almost around 49% from the field, averaged around 5 rebounds per game, gives you defense. Like, this guy was an integral part of that team. And other guys have just stepped up. And they have guys like, Danilo Gallinari playing at the 3. And the Sixers really just aren't making them pay. So I think that's kind of where we're going to have to see something out of this Philadelphia 76ers team. And I'd love to transition over into them, because looking at the game yesterday, it's strange. The Sixers have been kind of an established team at this point for a while. Ben Simmons, Joel Embiid, they've had some moving pieces. They've had definitely different guys in there, but suddenly it seemed like at the end of the game, I'm not sure what lineup they really should be running with. You got Furkan out there, and you got Seth starting. I don't know. It just didn't feel like they were making the Hawks pay for some where they could. If you have Danilo Gallinari at the small forward position, someone has to be making him pay. What was happening was, and of course, Joel Embiid had possibly the worst game of his playoff career, probably. But what was happening was, they have a bad situation where they can't play guys like Ben Simmons and Dwight Howard together, because that gives them 2 non-shooting threats. And suddenly, the Hawks are just leaving guys wide open. They're just leaving Ben wide open. The same thing is happening with, is it Thibault or Thibault? Thibault. Let me check real quick.
Someone will correct you in the comments.
Yeah, I don't want the correction. I do not.
Bro, you've been saying. I remember the first time we did this, you came in and you said, "Yeah, Mike, it's not Dennis Schroeder, it's Dennis Schroeder."
No, I didn't.
And everyone was like,
but I was just wrong. But I didn't think I told you that.
I'm not gonna lie. I still don't know what it is with Dennis and his name. I've had people. I've said Schroeder, and I've had people correct me to Schroeder. I've said Schroeder. People have corrected me to Schroeder.
All right, it's for sure Thibault. It's for sure Thibault.
Couldn't find it.
So the same thing is happening with Thibault now, where if you watched the game yesterday, the Hawks just basically decided we're not going to guard him. And we're going to make it so that now, you got Ben Simmons on the floor with Thibault. You're leaving 2 guys wide open. There was a play I watched where Thibault went behind Joel Embiid and dumped the ball off to Joel Embiid, went behind him, and then cut to the corner. Gallinari fouled him and just completely doubled Joel Embiid and just left Thibault wide open. And Thibault ended up shooting 1 for 5 from 3. I mean, Philly's got to figure this out. What do you guys think the solution is? Do you think it's a little bit of an overreaction on my part, maybe?
I agree with you. I think they got to make Gallinari pay. But, outside of making him pay, if I have a 6'9", 6'10", 6'11" point guard that I don't want to say is a generational talent, but this super talented player, big time slasher, athletic, strong, and the other team is playing Trae Young at the point guard position, you got to make Trae Young pay. Like, you can't just let this guy exist out there on the basketball floor. Like, you have a mismatch. You have to attack it. And maybe this goes back to Doc Rivers and not making the proper adjustments. I know people are really hard on Doc. But, at the same time, maybe some of this stuff is warranted. I still can't believe we have not seen a team consistently attack Trae Young. And I know Ben Simmons isn't always the most aggressive player, but I think we can all agree that when Ben Simmons is playing aggressive, playing downhill and looking to attack, he's his best because he's not necessarily a threat to score the ball in any other way. Otherwise, you just got a 6'9" guy that's just passing the rock around, which is great. But, I mean, come on, you're Ben Simmons.
Yeah, he really thrives in transition, and that's about it. Once you get into a half-court set, he can set screens. Everyone knows the role's going to come. So, it's fairly predictable what Ben Simmons is going to do. But on your point about Doc Rivers, Coop, I was going to say, the main reason why Doc Rivers got fired, and when Doc Rivers got the job with Philadelphia, the first thing we all referenced was this man really had a history of just very sketchy lineups that just didn't make any sense and had this complete reluctance to alter any type of lineups he had or make any adjustments that made sense. A famous story is when he left Montrezl Harrell in. We talked about this a bunch of times in the starting 5 against the Denver Nuggets in their playoff series last year when they blew a 3-1 series lead. They found out that Montrezl Harrell when Montrezl Harrell was integrated into that lineup, the Los Angeles Clippers were a -34 rating with him in the lineup and a +10 with Ivica Zubac replacing him. And Doc Rivers knew this, the analytic was given to him, and he still didn't make the adjustment. So, I don't know, whenever I watch these games, I think to myself, okay, does Doc see that he could definitely abuse Danilo Gallinari a little bit by making a minor adjustment? I don't know. I feel like Doc has always been historically good at winning those regular season games. I credit him for Ben Simmons taking a huge stride defensively, all the Philadelphia 76ers taking a huge step defensively. I credit Daryl Morey for masterful roster construction, adding Danny Green and Seth Curry, but I don't know. In these moments, you need your head coach to really lock down on those X's and O's and make the proper adjustments if they want to pull out this series.
Yeah, I mean, looking at the game, there are plenty of times, like you said, Coop, where Trae does end up on Ben Simmons, and the problem with Ben is, where is the improvement? He is dangerous. He is as dangerous as they come in the open court. When Ben Simmons is running and he has a fast break, he's going to make plays. He is going to, he could throw down. He could set up his teammates. However, in the half court, it's he gets very incredibly neutralized to the point where, again, he becomes a liability. He becomes someone that you can't play certain players with him. I know I just mentioned Thibault's name 20 times. However, it's tough for them both to play if Thibault's not making his 3. You're just leaving guys wide.
Can I add something real quick, Korzemba? Yeah. I'm sorry to cut you off, but a lot of people, they hate on Russell Westbrook and they hate on the fact that he can't shoot. But Russell Westbrook is going to make himself a threat. When he's going downhill, a lot of teams are doing everything they can to wall this guy off, to slow him down, because you don't want him attacking. You know he wants to attack. You know he wants to get to the basket. And you know he has that threat of creating for his teammates. But, it just goes back to, I always have felt like the best passers are also threats to score the basketball. That's why, like, I like Ricky Rubio. I like Lonzo Ball. I love Lonzo Ball. Lonzo's amazing, right? But, he's not going to reach his full potential until he's scoring the ball consistently, until he's a threat. And that's what I love so much about Trae Young. You got to worry about where this guy is at all times. And even though Ben can't shoot, you can do other things to make yourself a threat on the basketball floor.
Yeah, you could attack the rim aggressively and consistently, which I think is, one of the main problems here is that Ben Simmons, when he's in transition, he'll look to score. His mindset is not always there at all. I mean, you've got Embiid spotting up at the top of the three-point line, and you've got Capella, guarding him out there. The basket is wide open at times where you can just take your defender and drive. I don't care if it's John Collins guarding you. I don't care who is guarding you. You're Ben Simmons. You're about 6'8". You're 6'9". You're long. You're athletic. You shoot 70% at the rim. I'm looking at it right now on Basketball Reference. He shoots 70% at the rim. Fucking take the ball and drive to the basket and shoot more. Like, he is absolutely neutralizing himself. You're right. The best passers are guys that you're always worried are going to score. If Ben is, putting up more closer to 16 to 18 to 20 a night, as opposed to the 11 points per game he's scoring right now in the playoffs?
Yeah, with Embiid.
14. All right. 14 points per game. Yeah. With Embiid, like that. I mean, that's down the stretch too. It's like you're right. Where the Sixers, with their adjustments, I mean, Embiid's 0 for 12. He ends up 0 for 12 in the second half. You got figure something else out. It was not his night. At the end of the day, also, they're going to him in the post. He gets a charge. They go to him at the end of the game. He blows a layup. Whatever happens, I don't think it got tipped, but possibly. But blows a layup. They throw it to him at the top of the key and at a key possession, just pulls a three, misses. Like, other guys have to be scoring. And also, I think Tobias Harris has to take some accountability as well, because literally at some point I was like, is Tobias Harris out there? Like, what's going on?
Yeah, I completely forgot Tobias was playing this series. Not going to lie right there. Yeah, that's pretty tough.
Like, we're tough on the other guy, like Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid get the bulk of the 76ers hate whenever they do poorly. However, last night was a perfect opportunity for Tobias Harris to step up, drop a cool 30 or whatever.
Yeah, and he didn't play bad. He had 20. He had 28 to 15. He didn't play bad, but like you said, with Embiid ailing, going forward 20, they could have used another guy stepping up. And like you said, I would love Tobias to be that guy. If
especially down the stretch is what I'm saying too. Is look to score more. You're exactly. Tobias Harris 8 for 15. That's great efficiency. Shoot the ball more. Ben Simmons 5 for 10. What is going on? Why are you letting Joel Embiid shoot 4 for 20? It wasn't his night. Other guys got to step up. I mean, that's why I'm not even fully putting this on Embiid. He's hurt. They're giving him the ball nonstop. Sure, he wants it, but these other guys are not taking the opportunities that are given to them.
I mean, also, I'm going to give Joel Embiid, I'm going to cut him some slack a little bit because, he went 4 for 21 on the game. He went 0 for 12 in the second half. He only finished with 18 points in the entire game. This is a man that's still dealing with a knee injury. He's really doing his best. You could tell that he's running on fumes there. And on top of that, he's still finding ways to contribute. He still grabbed 21 rebounds last night. So my question is it enough though? If none of your stars, or I don't know if we're calling Tobias Harris a star, if none of your max contract players are showing up, I think Tobias Harris needs to start perceiving himself as, he's not an all-star, but he's a fringe all-star, as that guy that needs to step up and be that scoring threat in addition to Joel Embiid, if Joel Embiid has a knee problem, and if Ben Simmons is a non-factor because the game is slowed down.
Yeah, and he has that potential too. I mean, in game 1 against Washington, Tobias had 37 points in a 7-point win. You could clearly look at that and be like, Tobias was the main reason they won that game.
Yeah,
You
to
know,
be
him
fair,
stepping
Washington's
up.
defense is like terrible too. But,
Yeah,
like
but
you're right, the potential is there. I'm not going
If
to
you
argue
look,
that.
I'm looking right now. Tobias Harris's 4 games this series.
Yeah.
Man is shooting 59% and
Sheesh.
averaging 21 points a game.
That tells
Like,
me you're not shooting enough, right
shoot
there.
the ball
that
more.
tells me you shouldn't be shooting 59. I'm sorry, I don't
even
care.
towards the end of the game, yeah.
Yeah.
Even towards the end of the game, I don't know exactly the possession, but I remember Tobias had a look, and he just throws it to Embiid in the post. It's like, shoot, bro. Like, I was getting frustrated.
I'm sure Embiid would love that, and I know Doc has urged Simmons to be more aggressive too. I know a few of Simmons' past coaches have urged Simmons to be more aggressive. Hopefully, in upcoming games, we see somebody else outside of Embiid step up. To add to what Flight Mike said, man, I'm impressed Embiid's even playing, man. Like, I feel bad that this dude had to go out there in the second half and do what he did, but
And he's playing heavy minutes, and like previously, like Mike mentioned, grabbing over 20 boards, like we've said in past podcasts, where if your shot isn't falling, if you could, the most important thing is making an impact on the game in other ways, which he certainly does. I mean, at the end of the day, he's also providing rim protection. I mean, on a lot of those drives to the basket with Trae, with anyone, like Embiid's right there. Like he's putting in full effort. The man's giving it everything he can on an injured leg, which unfortunately it's the type of injury where it doesn't get better unless you give it like a decent stretch of time. Off, and could potentially require surgery. We're not even sure about that yet. He could require surgery in the offseason. So, Tobias Harris, shoot the ball more. Ben Simmons, please be more aggressive. Drive to the rim. I don't get why he does not drive more. Just makes absolutely no sense to me, especially he shoots 70% at the rim. That is an awesome, insane number. Like, these guys play with such high efficiency. It just feels like they force-fed Embiid. I get it. He was MVP candidate this year, but I mean, take some parts to just take some of his load. Pause. Yeah, to myself.
Take some of his load.
Take some of his load. Words of Michael Korzemba.
Oh my god, bro. So, do you guys mind not to make a complete 180 on this conversation? We talked about injuries with Joel Embiid a little bit. I'm sure we all know this entire NBA season has been greatly affected by injuries, more than I would like, with Jamal Murray getting injured for the Denver Nuggets. Of course, the Los Angeles Lakers all got injured at the wrong time. And now in their last game, at least at the time that, what was it, game 4, I believe? Yeah, in game 4, Kyrie Irving injured his ankle. And I don't know if you guys saw, but did you see how Glen Davis reacted to Kyrie Irving injuring his ankle?
Yeah, the Celtics winning that championship might be like the worst thing that has ever happened in the game of basketball.
Yo, I'm not gonna lie. I mean, I loved Glenn and Nate back in the day, but
back in the day, they were cool, bro. They were cool,
bro.
Bro.
They had that one game. They had that one playoff game where Nate was jumping on Glenn's back and it was sick. But Glen Davis, relax. What you should never, ever, ever, I don't care who it is, celebrate someone's injury. Don't care who it is, never. So low class. That is just you're being shit.
Yeah, you never do that.
I understand the passion and being upset at Kyrie for stomping on Lucky the logo. I understand I understand how much Lucky and the Celtics might mean to Glen Davis because he won a championship with them. And even Kevin Garnett came and spoke out about Kyrie Irving disrespecting the Celtics and giving Kyrie Irving's history with the Celtics. I can understand how that's taken the wrong way. I think saying, that's the same ankle that you stomped on Lucky with. You see, karma's a bitch. You shouldn't have done that. I think that's just absolutely bizarre. But that aside,
I wouldn't say it's bizarre. I'd say that's an asshole move, honestly. Don't.
All my homies hate Big Baby Davis.
Yeah,
bro,
I mean, we got that. Wait. While we're on this subject, did you guys, of course, see Devin Booker's tweet at the Suns fan?
Kind of hard. I'm not gonna lie, Book. That was kind of hard. I'm not gonna.
That was sick.
All right, wait. So you
Suns and 4
because he got a lot of crap for that. But here, so for anyone listening to the pod that doesn't know, a Suns fan literally beat the shit out of a Nuggets fan at the game. And here, I actually pulled up basically a transcript of what exactly happened. So Nuggets fans were being generally obnoxious all game, and they go to leave early. And so this Suns fan, he chirps at them. He starts waving goodbye and saying Suns in 4. Okay. The Nuggets in this they describe him as the bowl cut guy. He gets pissed off, chirps back. Suns guy says that his chains and watch are fake and everything. If you saw the guy, he was decked out, chains, watch, everything. Nuggets bowl cut guy takes out a wad of cash apparently and asks if he thinks his money is fake, which I would have loved to have watched all this actually take place because this sounds absurd. All right. Whatever. Suns guy rolls his eyes, goes, this is over. Situation's over, The Nuggets fan dumps a beer on the Suns guy's head as he goes to leave. That starts a fight in which the Suns fan proceeds to demolish the Nuggets guy's face. All right. And to make this all so much worse, the Nuggets fan obviously did not think that this was being recorded on camera. He did not think that this was going to go, as viral as it did. He made an Instagram story for, I'm assuming, just his own friends, and was pointing at himself going, oh, look at these battle wounds. Look at these battle wounds. He's like, we beat the shit out of some guy. I dumped a beer on his head. We fucked him up. And it just made it so much worse, man. I mean, literally to just pretend like you beat someone up when literally the whole world watched the guy. Literally, I'll just back up, and guy took his head and just went boom, 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 like 4 or 5 times. And then Devin Booker's like, yo, who is this guy? Supporting him.
Sounds
hilarious.
Sounds like he's super down bad.
Bad.
Every part of that story, the fake jewelry to taking out a wad of cash, which I don't even know why people walk around with a wad of cash, bro. It's 2021.
What are you
doing?
That's not smart at all. Not street smart, not no type of smart. I don't know where you got that from. Also, you left out the no-look punch. You left that out.
Wait, sorry. He cheap shotted him. Sorry. I missed that in the transcript that I have. This was taken from Reddit. Shout out to who did this. Sorry, my bad. I didn't look it up. But it says Nuggets bowl cut takes cheap shot, and then it goes Nuggets bowl cut discovers he has a new father. So that guy just whooped him,
bro. Leave the Nuggets fans alone. They've been through so much this year, so many ups and downs. There was a point where I thought that they'd actually be able to challenge for the West, and then Jamal Murray gets injured, and then they start telling themselves that Michael Porter Jr. could potentially carry them, and then that didn't
I love the Nuggets, man. I'm a big Jokic fan. I've always liked Michael Porter Jr. I like all that, but I just don't like that guy.
So if we were to go to a Go ahead, Coop.
I was just gonna say, while we're here, we got to talk Jokic versus Book. Did you guys see Jokic brothers go after or try to kind of hint they were gonna go after Book? They were super mad in the stands,
Serbian mob type mentality.
Bro, they looked like they could kill Book and make it look like it was an accident. No joke. I'd be terrified of his brothers.
Bro, okay, I was just gonna say for one, there were a lot of people on Twitter saying Book doesn't know what he's getting himself into. Book can't fight. Okay, so if your teammate gets cheap shotted or flagrant fouled or whatever, Book just did the right thing. He just went up and he was yeah. And then Who are we to say we know what Book is about? I don't know Devin Booker like that. I don't know his past. I don't know his background. Even if I knew where he was from, I don't know what he's gotten into. I don't know if he's like fought other people. I don't know if he's had boxing classes. You know what I'm saying? I'm never the one to say somebody's about that life or not about that life at the end of the day.
I mean, there's a viral clip of him like complaining about being double teamed in a pickup game. So like that's at least the very minimal.
That has nothing like
That's
the correlations. Right.
Also, I mean, like, I understand. Yeah, I mean, okay, I see both ways on that side still, because he was just being like, stop double teaming in a pickup game. I'm trying to work on my game, and you guys are freaking ruining it. But then other people are like, if you have a competitive spirit, you won't complain. Whatever with that, you know. I mean, I completely agree with you, Coop, with Devin Booker. You know, what are you supposed to do? You're supposed to just be like, oh, campaign. You're just on the ground, like looking at the replay. I mean, what do you guys think with the, first of all, just quickly, I don't think he should have got tossed.
I don't think he should have got.
He hit. Ejected. I mean, he straight up.
It looked worse than it did. It looked worse than it did. It looked worse than it did live.
Like Cam just laying on the ground for like 5 straight minutes didn't exactly help things. But end of the day, I mean, LeBron's not getting tossed for that. Like, it's kind of it's crazy that he got tossed for that.
You could already see CP3's influence rubbing off on Cam. You know, like I can.
He was on the ground for like a year. Like, honestly,
no, bro, that's a CP3. Like, look, I love Chris Paul, but that's like some CP3 shenanigans right there. Like
right. I mentioned yesterday when I was watching the game when Ben Simmons, I fouled Trae, right? I think, or John Collins when he fouled John Collins in transition. I think that's a more dangerous play by far than what Jokic did. Jokic accidentally, I mean, I definitely do not think in any way Jokic went to hit him in the face. I think maybe he's a little mad. He aggressively just swiped down, hit the ball. Ben Simmons, if you watch that play, I mean, I might get random shit for this. I don't care, honestly, because if you watch that play, the ball is in John Collins' hand up here. Ben Simmons literally like hit like his waist basically on the left side. He was nowhere near the ball at all. That deserved the flagrant one, as did, I think, I'm not saying toss Ben. I'm just saying personally to me, out of the 2 plays, the one that made me go, whoa, like, oh, that like had injury potential was John Collins over Jokic. Like, and tossing the MVP in a deciding game like that, I mean, you got to do something super, super bad. And I think the refs were soft on that one for sure. I mean, again, I've said it a bunch, but he straight up smacked full ball. Like, he went, did he clip Cam in the face? Yes. Give him a flagrant one. Move on with the game.
I think it was the context of the situation and like how he went about it. Like, you can tell like he wanted to like retaliate in some type of way. So I think that might have had something to do with it. But also, while we're here, if we ever have a 3v3 basketball tournament, okay, or actually let me preface that with this. I don't think Book should have been the one that went up to Jokic. The Suns, like, Jay Crowder, where you at? I mean, I obviously don't have the clip or whatever, but the Suns got to have somebody else going up and checking Jokic. I know Book was probably like one of the closest or whatever, but you don't want your star player getting into that.
No, I like that though. I feel like that's like a I understand what you're saying. Like, you have the enforcer type, but I also
I mean, it was hard by Book. I like it too.
He's the face of the franchise, so like I like the fact that like like leadership wise, like he's going like don't fuck with anyone. Like I mean, Campaign's bench player, like, I mean, and he just walking up to Jokic, who's gigantic. Like, that's really showing you our team's back. Yeah. I mean, Jokic with those, he's got those kind of dead eyes in that situation. That was kind of a little freaky.
Flight Mike
staring into Dev's soul.
Can we agree that if we have a 3v3 basketball tournament, that Flight Mike is going to be our enforcer?
Oh yeah,
just like get that out of the way right now.
I think it would happen accidentally, honestly. I mean, this man throws guys through the window.
I know
with no problems. So, like, I don't know what he's gonna do on a basketball court.
So long as we celebrate at Papados after the dub, yeah.
Oh my god, that's a low blow. Hey, that's a low blow.
Bro, I love Papados. Like I
love
used to go there as a
Papados,
kid.
too.
Like
I love Papados
that
too,
charboy, their fries were fire.
Their shrimp are good.
Yo,
Wait, Coop. How
Yeah.
can you how's your dunk game right now?
My dunk? Oh, I'm getting there. I'm getting back, man. I lost like 10 pounds.
Yo.
I've been working on my legs.
Can you catch oops?
I could catch alleys, bro.
Oh,
I could catch
okay.
alleys.
Yo.
Like
all right, you gotta let
there.
me get. All right, I'm gonna say, guys, for everyone watching, day one in the gym, day one back on the diet grind. I kind of had a day zero yesterday where I still dieted and exercised, but I am getting back. I'll be back in basketball shape at my at my height, at my prime. I'm a point guard, good court vision, great shooter, but I had a point where in my freshman dorm, shout out to my man Io. He was about only like 6'3" or 6'4", like nothing huge, but man could jump. And we used to go run pickup games at Taffner. It's a court at St. John's, where they're highly competitive pickup games. This is Queens, New York. Like we're playing with basketball team would show up plenty of times. There are a bunch of guys there that I've played high level basketball games. Those games were good, and I would be throwing alley-oops from half court on a semi-regular basis, I would say, honestly. Like, literally, like, maybe once every 3 games from half court or something. But I was just throwing this man oops. So I'm telling you, like, when I get an alley-oop partner, love it. Like, you can score every time.
All right, now I'm not LeBron. I want to say that right now. I'm not LeBron.
No. I mean, yeah. This was we were 19 at this point, or 18 or 19.
Yeah.
So we had legs, but I'm talking 3v3 half court. That's a different alley-oop. That's a more of a drive to the basket, lob it up.
So quick question: should we try to hit a court at Rolling Loud in Cali? Flight Mike, what are you thinking with this one?
If you guys want it, we could go for it.
You think?
What the day? I'll probably, if you guys don't know, we're all going to Rolling Out together. You know what we should do? What we should do is I should fly out on Thursday, at least, if not Wednesday, and we could record a live pod.
Oh, yeah, that might not be a bad idea.
For sure.
Okay.
Like, I think that is for sure what we do. And then we could, I'm definitely down to ball. Me and Tom were actually talking about today. We were like, can we break Tom actually texted. He was like, we should break the 3-point record for most 3-pointers in 1 minute. It's 31. It's literally 31.
Really?
I do that all the time.
Which seems somewhat doable. If you watch the video, the guy, first of all, he makes 31 straight threes. Okay. Then misses his final 3 threes, which is like, obviously, some guy was like last 5 seconds, and somehow that rattled him after making 31 straight shots with no conscience. But, I feel like you could get up like a solid 40 shots if you're shooting faster, like in a minute. Like the guy had 50 basketballs with a guy just handing him a basketball every single time. So it's not like you're just walking, you're just shooting by yourself. So, I mean, that video could go viral. Mike Korzemba breaks Guinness Book of World Record 3-pointers in 1 minute.
Yeah, we could react to that on the pod.
Tom, we gotta start training, dog.
So I wanted to ask you guys something because we skipped out like one tiny little bit of the Phoenix Suns, which, if you don't mind me going back to that, what would you say Chris Paul's value is to the Phoenix Suns at this point? Because I don't know if you guys heard, this man is planning on opting out this offseason out of a $44 million contract. He's 34 years old. There's a rumor going around that the Suns might offer him a 3-year, $100 million contract.
With that, I'll say what? Yes,
worth it if they can afford it.
And worth it. And what else who would you replace him with is my question with that one. Because I think a lot of times when you see a contract like that, 3 years seems like a lot. Chris Paul gets injured a little bit. They'd be holding him back in the regular season for sure. It's 3 years as he gets older. I mean, I think one of the most important things, I'm glad I just remembered this because I actually specifically said I want to talk about this in the pod. I think one of the most impressive and important things about Chris Paul's game is the fact that he is able to evolve with his growing age. He is able to change his game in a way that he still is a highly impactful player, but just in a different way. And not every NBA superstar is able to do that at all. And I think Chris Paul is actually one of the best examples of someone able to do that, because, you got LeBron. Of course, LeBron's just been going. And he's probably maybe the best example, I guess, of a guy with the longevity. But I mean, if you watch guys like Allen Iverson, for instance, let's throw out him. He did not adjust his game in a way that could make him a useful player as he grew older. However, if you watch someone like Vince Carter, he adjusted his role. He fully bought into, okay, I'm no longer the guy that I am, and that's okay. I'm still going to make an impact on my team. A lot of guys don't have, can't put their ego to the side like that, I would say, which I think is just super great for Chris Paul. And yeah, if I were, betting on him, I'm betting on him. I'd take him for sure, because just look what he did with the Thunder. Look what he did with the Suns. I mean, the Suns hadn't made the playoffs with Devin Booker yet. And now we're looking at a team where, are they the Western Conference favorites? Yeah, right? They've got to be. Beat the Lakers, clean sweep of the Nuggets. Has Damian Lillard. I mean, I don't want to. We've talked a bunch about Dame and Lakers and whatever, but has Damian Lillard saying, shaking my fucking head after a Game 3 loss. So the Nuggets lost Game 3 because he just saw the Portland Trailblazers lost to a team that got swept by the Suns. So what's Chris Paul's value? I would say, yeah, tremendous. Sign that man up.
Yeah, I'm gonna get a lot of hate for this. Just is what it is. About to embrace it. I don't think Vince Carter evolved that well late into his career. I feel like he was kind of just collecting checks, but I do think he evolved to the best of his ability. It's a little tougher when you're a guy like Vince, but yeah, I just kind of wanted to throw that in there. Also, he was a good vet leader. I will give you that too, but he wasn't. Really
I think you
effective.
might. I'm thinking more, to Orlando, and then.
Okay. If you're talking Orlando, I'll give you that. that.
And then, some Dallas days where, yeah, I mean.
But what was he, 32 at that time? 33? That's not that bad. That's not that
Dallas,
old.
he was 35,
but you're right.
36.
Oh, that was 35? Okay, well, yeah,
30.
I'll give you that
Yeah,
then.
I mean, Vince played till he's 43. That's why, literally, Vince is the only player to ever play in 4 decades. So
yeah, that's kind of crazy.
Yeah, that's actually absolutely insane. I mean, when did he... I mean, that will never happen again, probably. I mean, he played 1999 to 2020. That's nuts. But yeah, I mean, again, I'm just saying, it's crazy to be able to evolve your game in that way. However, we got a lot to talk about, and I mean, with the Suns, do we want to talk any more about the Suns? We've covered them a bunch.
No. Yeah, we're good with that.
Yeah, we've covered them a bunch. If you guys want to hear us, I mean, last podcast we really, talked about Bridges. We talked about Aiden. We've been talking about him. Who do you guys want to talk about? Do you want to talk Clippers?
I really, really want to talk about the Nets. I have sat down here and heard so much LeBron James slander, even whether it's as a Los Angeles Lakers fan or even prior to this year, like him losing his the 2015 finals to the Golden State Warriors when Kevin Love and Kyrie were out. I've heard so much slander about the man, losing his first NBA Finals series in 2007 against the San Antonio Spurs, despite him taking a squad of role players to the NBA Finals. And now I'm really excited to see Kevin Durant potentially, not that I'm happy that his teammates are injured. I just want to see how Kevin Durant will respond now that he's in the same situation that LeBron James has been in multiple times. Like this year, LeBron couldn't make it past the first round, but there was way too much going on against him. He came back from an ankle injury prematurely. I think AD came back. I think he rushed himself a little bit. Schroeder came back the time at the exact same time the play-in was about to start. I want to see how Kevin Durant's going to answer this call, assuming that his teammates can't continue on, and I'm hoping that they get well soon.
Harden is expected to play tonight, right?
Yeah, I know that. I know he is, but he was expected to play in game 1, and then he went down with the same hamstring tightness as before.
Yeah, so with the Brooklyn Nets, this isn't really getting talked about a lot, but all of their stars have been kind of overloaded with minutes, and they've kind of been overcompensating. Kyrie played 45 minutes twice this series. That's a 3-minute break in 2 games. That's kind of absurd, especially when you think about the offensive toll that weighs on these guys. I mean, I really hope that we don't see Kevin Durant continue to tick into the high 40s, because he's already at 40 minutes per game, 42 minutes per game, and this has been a physical series. They've been letting a lot go, and I think PJ Tucker and the Milwaukee Bucks are making a note to rough up the Brooklyn Nets a little. So, I am a little worried about, the whole injury bubble surrounding this series.
Yeah, especially when you're considering the fact that Kevin Durant literally had an Achilles, is coming off of an Achilles tear from, the beginning of the year. He came back from an Achilles tear. And then if you just think back to the way the man tore his Achilles to begin with, he had a calf strain in his final playoff run with the Golden State Warriors. He pushed the issue a little bit. As a result, he got hit with probably the worst injury that you could get hit with in basketball. Now, it was on his non-shooting leg, so it's a little bit better, but it's still something that I could imagine at least KD looking at his teammates as a little bit of a cautionary tale, saying, hey, don't push it. We have plenty of more playoff runs in us, possibly. You don't want to risk it all for the very first one. And then you just look at the Nets, and they've just been battered by injuries all year. Spencer Dinwiddie out for the season, and he would have played a huge role. Saying this from the top of my memory, but I know multiple other players got injured as well. So I don't know. It should be interesting to see how KD could answer the call. But personally, I don't think he can. If he goes in this alone, I'll say this on this pod, if it's just Kevin Durant and there's no Harden or no Kyrie, I don't think he makes it out of the series. I think the Brooklyn Nets lose.
Oh, I'm not saying he will. I think he can do it. I think the Nets can win. And I thought the Bucks were going to win this series. I think Harden's playing tonight, so whatever Harden gives them, without either of them, whatever. I think the Nets are a well-rounded team. I think they have guys that can step up. I think Mike James is fully capable of stepping into a bigger offensive role. I think Joe Harris is capable of stepping his game up a little bit. Blake Griffin, we all know that Blake's been pretty good throughout these playoffs. I like the Nets team. I'm not 100% sold on the Bucks, which is weird to say because I had the Bucks initially winning this series. So, it sounds crazy saying that, but I think Kevin Durant, I think he's that guy. Obviously, you can't do it by yourself. It's going to take multiple efforts, but I think there's a chance.
How come, if you don't mind me asking, because you said you pivoted on your original stance, how is it that now that the Brooklyn Nets are hurt a little bit more?
Okay, well, it's an easy answer. Originally, the Bucks tried to go big. I thought big ball would destroy the Brooklyn Nets. Lopez, Giannis. I was like, how are they going to defend this? Blake Griffin has been phenomenal on Giannis. No way around it. Giannis has had some good games, but overall, he's had to work for a lot of what he's gotten. He's done a good job. I don't want to say neutralizing Giannis, but he's done a great job of making life tough. I didn't think Blake Griffin would be an impactful defender on Giannis. So that initially is just going to shift me a little bit. And also, like I said, I thought the Bucks going big against the Brooklyn Nets was just going to devastate them. Seeing Brook Lopez in the post has kind of also helped to pivot my decision a little. So I think the Nets match up a lot better than I thought they did. I think they have a lot of firepower, and that's just kind of where I stand on the whole situation. And I think Kevin Durant is that guy to where he can go to another level. And I also think he's a little underrated as a playmaker. I feel like a lot of people have been maybe a little too hard on him. But, at the end of the day, I guess we'll see.
Here's my thing with Kevin Durant, and then Korzemba, you have that look in your eye. Like, I could tell we're only 11 pods deep, but like I could tell when you're like, I'm about to drop some knowledge. So I want to come to you next.
I'll just quickly, like he said, Blake Griffin is neutralized Giannis. I
said I didn't want to say neutralized. I said I don't want to say neutralized. I said he's done a good job, and that's not something that I saw coming. Giannis has been great. So
I would honestly say that like one of the most underrated subplots right now that's currently going on in the playoffs is that if the Bucks win this, like this is a potential Giannis like redemption tour. Giannis like, hey, I am a back-to-back MVP and now I'm actually proving it, because he's gotten a lot of shit in the playoffs where people are going, this is your back-to-back MVP. This guy's won 2 MVPs, blah, 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 whatever. Like, Giannis currently for this series against the Nets is averaging 30 points a game, 12 rebounds, and shooting 54%. The only thing that he needs to stop doing is, first of all, I don't know what's going on with his free throw shooting. Like, that is a fixable skill. Please don't be shooting 38%.
Bro,
but my whole thing is, like, honestly, like, when the 3 ball is not falling for him, just stop. Like, especially when you're walking up the court and you're shooting like the wide open 3 at the top of the key. He is missing that top of the key 3 at such an alarming rate. He's currently shooting, 1 for 5.3, less than 20%. He's doing everything else phenomenally, crushing it. I mean, all right, but I would say with you're saying Kevin Durant can pull it out, which, I mean, I'm not going to go out here and say that, like, I don't want to count Kevin Durant because he is one of the greatest scorers in NBA history. He's lethal at any night, could go absolutely off with a man completely in his face. However, I don't agree that the Nets have as many options as you're saying when they more than one star out. Okay, yeah, when Kyrie or Harden is playing along with Durant, or Kyrie or Harden are playing, I think all those Nets options
and Harden's playing tonight, and Harden is supposed to be playing tonight.
We'll see. We'll see how
that goes.
He could also play and end up playing 14 minutes, or he could play and be showing noticeable.
To add on,
but we weren't talking about if you said. If Harden is out, you said no. If they're out,
I added that in. I was like, if they're both out, I still do think there's a chance that he can do it at the end of the day. But I'm one of those optimistic guys.
I don't believe in that.
I'm one of those optimistic guys.
I think the Bucks. I mean, I think especially the Bucks with being able to game plan a little bit more with the idea that Kevin Durant is going to be the complete main option out there. Knowing that Irving's hurt, knowing that James Harden might be hurt, they're going into this with kind of more of a different mindset where they're going to have defensive schemes for lineups that the Nets are going to have out there where they don't have as many options, and they're going to take the ball out of Kevin Durant's hands.
I'll give you this. It's definitely not an ideal situation for the Brooklyn Nets. And again, I'm not saying they're going to win. I'm saying there's a chance. But to touch on what you said about Giannis, initially, I thought Giannis was going to come out and destroy the series. He's been good, but I don't want to say he's necessarily been dominant. He's scoring the ball, but he's taking a lot of shots. And if you ask me, what he's doing right now, it's going to sound dumb, is a win for the Brooklyn Nets. If Giannis has to take 26 shots to get 34 points, you don't love it for Brooklyn, but you can win with him playing like that. You can't win if he's missing 6 shots, 7 shots, and he's just destroying you uber efficiently. Not saying 54% is bad at all, because it's good. But once he gets into that elite efficiency and he's playing around the basket and getting those good shots, getting those easy shots, that's where he really hurts you, in my opinion.
The 3-point shooting and the free throws are literally killing him. Yeah, they're killing his efficiency.
Yeah, whenever he pulls up from three, I can imagine like the entire Brooklyn Nets bench and like, the coaches are like, yes, that's what we wanted, because like it's not his game at all. It's something he's working on and still needs to work on, by the way. I don't know if you guys like, there's just like one freeze frame of him trying to shoot a basketball. His mechanics need a lot of work. But on top of that, another thing that, yeah, Coop, I also wanted to comment on the fact that what you said about Blake Griffin. There's just like one clip, it like blew up on social media. I know both of you guys probably seen it, where Giannis Antetokounmpo is isolated on Blake Griffin. Blake Griffin's dropping back on him. Giannis has like no size up moves on him whatsoever, and then backs up a little bit and then tries to go full steam ahead at Blake Griffin, and then he gets stopped. So, I mean, at this point, it's impossible to fully stop Giannis, but I do think Blake Griffin has been doing an okay job slowing him down. I'm sorry, in my brain, I can never imagine Blake Griffin as a defensive stopper. It just doesn't compute.
I agree, which is like crazy to say.
Yeah, that's like saying to me, I know Rajon Rondo's improved as a 3-point shooter, but that's like you telling me Rajon Rondo, 3-point sniper. It just doesn't compute. But the thing about Kevin Durant and KD fans, I want you guys to like go into the comment section and just completely obliterate me for this. But
we will.
Yeah, please do. I know Coop. I know Coop is like Coop is like low key a borderline. When I first met Coop, he was a KD stan. I don't think he stans him anymore. But when I met him, like Coop and I met in 2010, big Kevin Durant fan.
Yeah, it was bad.
The thing about KD is he historically, as remarkable of a scorer as he is, that's what he is. He's a scorer. He's an elite scorer, quite possibly one of the greatest scorers that we've ever seen. But he's always needed help on his side, whether that's in the form of Westbrook and like Harden off the bench and Ibaka, or in the form of Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, and Draymond Green, or currently in the form of Kyrie Irving and James Harden and Blake Griffin off and whatnot. And whenever you would take those pieces away, all you get is a player that could score in bunches. He could and maybe like he could give you like one of those crazy 50+ games in the regular season and eke out a victory. Sure. But in a playoff series, that's too one-dimensional for me.
I'm not sure if this is normal practice, but I really don't like this for Brooklyn. And that's the fact that I think Mike D'Antoni is interviewing for like coaching jobs right now.
Yeah, there's been a lot of that stuff going on. Like Rick Carlisle is being associated with the Bucks job. Was like,
what do we like? Yeah, like when I saw that, I was like, well, Mike, don't we have a series to finish? Like, can we at least wait? Like,
but like, how long? Yeah, but like, here's the thing. I used to think that too. But like, how long does an interview take? Like 45 minutes to an hour? I don't imagine the entire...
I don't want you thinking about getting promoted right now. Get promoted by showing me what you're doing this series. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah. I think the problem is though that a lot of the teams make decisions. So like they like by the time that the playoffs are over, potentially for the Bucks, they could go all the way. By the time the playoffs are over, those jobs could be gone. I mean, you see it in NCAA to the extreme. There have been several cases of guys taking a job end of season before the NCAA tournament with their team in the NCAA tournament.
Oh, no. I know. I've never seen that, but I'm taking your word for it. Like, that's crazy, bro.
Yes, they literally have left their team. Like, that has happened. I think actually in... I want to say Michigan. I'm almost positive the Michigan coach.
Juwan Howard.
Might be wrong. No, not Juwan Howard. But he ended up coaching Juwan Howard, the guy that coached the Fab Five. Before he coached the Fab Five, when he took over the job originally, the reason that he held on to the job was because he took over for just the NCAA tournament. The school literally, like the other head coach at the time, left the team. Like I think he said he would coach at the NCAA tournament, but they were like, no, get out of here. And so the coach, I'm pretty sure his name is Steve Fisher. I am just going to keep talking as I look it up. Steve Fisher, Head coach, yep. He ended up leading Michigan, who was like an 8 seed or something. Actually, you know what? Give me 1 second. Let me look at this exact story. Head coach Bill Frieder, Michigan. He ends up taking a job at Arizona State literally before the NCAA tournament begins. He gets promoted, and the Michigan athletic director famously says, "I don't want someone from Arizona State coaching the Michigan team. A Michigan man is going to coach Michigan." So Steve Fisher takes over. Was their assistant coach. He was not supposed to be their coach go after that season. He was supposed to just, do his job, and they were going to hire someone else, especially because Michigan was a lower seed, maybe like a 10-8 or something. They ended up making an improbable Final Four run. He ended up keeping his job, and then he was the one that put the Fab Five together. He was their coach. So, yeah, I mean, we've seen the NBA, people are interviewing for jobs, and the NCAA people have taken jobs and gotten kicked out of their team.
What the? That's
How hilarious is it that they went to the Final Four after as well? Like, you literally gave up on your team, and then they played way better than they did for you.
That's heartbreaking, honestly.
That sucks.
Yeah.
I mean, deserves it. Like, freaking don't take another job before the NCAA tournament.
Yeah, that's pretty dumb. I'm not going to lie. I just can't believe those Clippers comments I got. I really want to address those. Might not do it, but
address him.
Kawhi is on a mission is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. What the fuck? Did you see that Kawhi dunk yesterday?
Oh my God, he murdered him.
If that's not on a mission, then I don't know what is, man. That was crazy.
That was actually crazy. That was actually like jump out of your seat, like, whoa, shit.
Yeah, did you see Embiid's reaction to the dunk? He was getting interviewed, and he was like, whoa. He was like, yo, you see that Kawhi dunk?
And he had a little stare down too.
Yeah. Kawhi don't normally do that one. Like,
people like to go like, oh, he's a robot. Like, people even did the like, oh, he's a robot. Like, even when he don't. Nah, he had a stare down.
I buy into greatness. I buy into Kawhi. If they lose, it's gonna be on his back. That series is really entertaining.
All right, so Coop certainly believes that Kawhi is a man on a mission. I've got to say, with the stare down, after the dunk, with the Kawhi's performance lately. I mean, I think I saw actually a funny comment on some of the highlights where it was like Kawhi is like an AI computer and he just takes in the first 2 games and then adjusts, automatically. What do you think, Mike? What do you think about the Clippers? Do you think that, because a lot of people, including, I would say, myself, I made a Clippers, semi-hate-ish video. A lot of people have been counting them out. Do you think this is a team that still has a chance to go all the way, win the NBA championship? And of course, do you think they could win this series?
Here's the thing that I noticed about the Clippers. I do agree in the sense that Kawhi Leonard kind of like intakes all this information and adjusts, because even in his last championship run with the Toronto Raptors, we saw that happening in the Eastern Conference Finals, right? He went down to against the Milwaukee Bucks 2-0, and then eventually the Toronto Raptors ended up winning that series. And then we saw that literally again in the previous round, where we thought that the Dallas Mavericks were going to win. They went up on the Los Angeles Clippers 2-0. Clippers come back, end up winning the series. And now, at the time we're recording this pod, the series is dead even after the Clippers were down 2-0. They came back. So I don't necessarily know if it's done on purpose. I do think there might be a bit of a feeling out process going on, because the one thing I noticed, and I think the way things shifted, was in their last loss to the Utah Jazz, the Los Angeles Clippers were down by like 20 plus, I remember, and they came out in a zone. And I remember, although the Utah Jazz ended up winning that game, they were able to close the gap decently. And when I saw that, I was like, wow, I was a huge Tyronn Lue hater. Like, from the very beginning, I came on this pod and I said that Tyronn Lue is a coach that got carried by LeBron James to a championship, didn't really contribute much, is really good at controlling his players, and that's it. And I said that. But when I saw that adjustment being made, and I don't know if it was Tyronn Lue, it could have been someone else, but when I saw that adjustment being made in that game, I was like, wow, the Clippers might actually have a chance here. So I don't know, because I've seen way too much inconsistency in the Clippers. I want to see how the Utah Jazz could answer back to the adjustments Tyronn Lue has made against them. But I do like the Clippers' chances, and I don't think it's a foregone conclusion that the Utah Jazz are going to take the series. Whereas if you asked me this question about 5 days ago, I would have said that I have the Utah Jazz meeting the Phoenix Suns in the Western Conference Finals.
What did I say about Ty Lue?
Honestly, you got to give credit where credit's due. Coop literally straight up was like, yeah, Ty Lue's underrated, and he's going to make coaching changes. He said it.
He did.
He for sure said it. I'll say about the Clippers, what excites me about their team is their ability to go like super big, but not in a traditional sense at all. It's more of just like they've got 4 guys out there that are all 6'8" or 6'9".
I love that. I think that's the future of the league.
And it's literally just like, it's so hard to guard, like especially when you have someone like Reggie Jackson also stepping up tremendously. I mean, I think it was mentioned that Reggie Jackson wasn't in the rotation, like headed into this season. And now he's shooting like 60% and somehow.
Also, he might as well be 6'8". He's got a 7-foot wingspan.
Yeah, Reggie Jackson
got a 7-foot wingspan.
Yeah, I'm seeing OKC Thunder Reggie Jackson out there. This is like crazy.
And so like it's just like their ability to just, switch, their ability for so many guys on their team to be able to guard multiple positions, their ability to just so many shooters out there. You've got to guard everyone. The mismatch problems, it's insane because it's just, you've got shorter guys out there, or you have a center out there that is immobile and can't really guard the perimeter, or you have problems. And it seems like they're really coming to their own. It seems like, they took 2 games and now they're like definitely showcasing like a potential that I wasn't sure was there, especially in the beginning of the Dallas series where I thought they were definitely getting outplayed and I was concerned. But I mean, this is a team where suddenly out of nowhere, it's like, oh, look, here are the Clippers. Like next thing you know, they could be in the NBA Finals, and we're going like, this whole story is completely rewritten because we were talking like, oh, Kawhi gets bounced by the Mavericks. Like, where's he going? Like Golden State Warriors, like, Miami Heat. Now it's like, who wants to go play with the Clippers? Because this is a good team. And I do agree, this is kind of like a future of the league situation where you see, you've got 5 guys, you got 5 threats out there. I mean, Donovan Mitchell has certainly taken advantage in terms of attacking the rim with the lack of rim protection, but the thing is, like, it just hasn't been enough.
Yeah, they need Mike Conley. They need Mike Conley bad. They need another playmaker. I mean, I'm looking at the stats from last game.
Jordan Clarkson's been dropping the ball.
Yeah, I'm looking at the stats, and the highest assist total on their team was 5, and that came from Mitchell. And we know Mitchell is he does a lot of things well. Fantastic creator when it comes to creating his own shot. Fantastic scorer. He could put the ball in the basket with some of the best of them, but what he's not is a creator. Mike Conley's having arguably his best season or his most impactful season. And he has not been out there on the floor. And when it comes to this Jazz team, they got a lot of shooters. They got a lot of guys that can put the ball in the basket, but they need somebody to get it to them, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's actually a really weird series if you look at it, because there is not a single player on either team that's averaging more than 4.5 assists per game. And the Clippers, Kawhi's averaging 4, Paul George is averaging 4.3 assists, and then it drops to Reggie Jackson at 2.8.
So I also think there's 2 interesting dynamics at play where like the Clippers have this 6'8" team with a bunch of wings that are versatile, and then you have the Jazz with this anchor and a bunch of shooting, which neither is like a bad way or like the wrong way to build a team. But in your opinion, guys, like what do you think you would rather, saying you have a superstar, saying you have a guy? Would you rather a team built like the Jazz, or would you rather a more versatile team like the Los Angeles Clippers?
See, now this is where we can, go back to Trae Young, where it's like Trae's ability to have those 18 assist games with the center and shooting around him, like having your star be more of a playmaker. He fits that roster. Like the Hawks are playing so well, in my opinion, because of how well their roster is assembled and how well just the pieces fit. Donovan Mitchell is an incredible player, like star stepping up, killing it. But the problem is that he is not necessarily that guy that is getting those shooters involved, that's running the pick and roll and maybe utilizing a center that's a lob threat as much as a guy like Trae does. So in terms of like what roster I would rather have, it depends, I feel like, on the situation, and it depends on like who your star is. When your star is Kawhi Leonard and your star is a guy who's not a primary, it isn't even really like, he's, Kawhi creates plays, but he's not known for that at all. Average, again, like around 4 assists per game playoffs. I like what the Clippers are doing. I like their roster. I'd rather spread it out and just do what they're doing.
I think I'd actually rather what the Utah Jazz do, because from my perspective, the Utah Jazz pretty much got together a group of role players that just play off of each other really well, with some really solid pieces like Rudy Gobert, some great two-way players, and then they have a great facilitator in Mike Conley, and they have a scorer that could get them out of sticky situations in Donovan Mitchell. Which, by the way, like we were talking about Trae Young, just being this very young guy that still has yet to scratch the surface of his potential. You forget that Donovan Mitchell was literally drafted the year before him. And he's already pulling off some of the stuff that he does. So, I mean, at the end of the day, like the Clippers have an advantage as well. They have like what I think, and this is off the top of my head, they have like a combined like 5 championships on that team, I believe. Rajon Rondo with 2, Kawhi Leonard with 2, and Serge Ibaka with 1. So I think that's probably what at least fascinates me the most out of that series. Which is going to win out, the well-oiled machine of the Utah Jazz or the experience of the Los Angeles Clippers?
So Tyronn Lue's kind of cutthroat. Have we seen Rondo this series?
One game he put up, I actually noticed that as I was looking at the assists. He's played one game, he had 6 assists. So technically he's leading the series in assists per game, but he's not playing.
Ooh.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, though, that they're going with what's working. Reggie Jackson attacking the basket's what is working. Having multiple 6'8" guys out there that can score, defend, switch. It's all working. So now, honestly, like the Clippers made the adjustments. They won their home games. Jazz won their home games before that. Now it's on the Jazz to come out and let's see if they're going to make adjustments, because Clippers took the last 2 games, and we've seen this plenty of times in the playoffs throughout history. You see teams like, if you look back at the last year of Kevin Durant, the Thunder, I'm pretty sure, came out and got kind of smoked by the Spurs before they even played the Warriors, and a lot of people were counting out the Thunder then. And then Thunder go out and crush the Warriors for the first few games.
Man.
And everyone is like, oh, yep, OKC, this is finally their finals appearance. Adjustments are made in the playoffs. Boom, suddenly the Warriors look like a different team. Clay catches fire. They go to the finals. Utah Jazz, Game 5 is huge for them. We'll see if they make the right adjustments to, favor their play style. They are missing Conley, though. That is kind of a huge concern.
That's huge. Yeah.
Because, again, like I mentioned, like with the, Donovan Mitchell as a scorer, if you put their roster is just so different when you do have the guy that's able to make plays and spread the ball around and get, guys more involved.
Yeah. Quick note: Joe Ingles is making $13 million a year. His contract is due to expire. I want to see what they're gonna end up paying this guy, because I know Duncan Robinson's expecting a bag. Joe Ingles is like 5 times the player Duncan Robinson is. Hey, don't get mad at me. Just my
Whoa! What's with the Duncan Robinson? Hey, why'd you bring what?
I mean,
I'll say 2.5.
Yeah, that was a hyperbole.
5 times.
I'll take it down. All right.
Next thing you know, you're gonna be saying something crazy like Kyle Kuzma is better than John Collins. Like,
all right, I like it. I first of all, John Collins. Remember when, like, it was like John Collins wanted out, and we were like actually discussing like, oh, he just isn't. It doesn't seem like he at all feels that way anymore. It's kind of crazy how that whole subplot is just completely gone. Man threw down some monster dunks last night, like that. Honestly, I would say completely energized the Hawks, and really help them come back. Like you could feel it in the building. Well, I mean, I was there, but you could see the crowd, and it was. He gave them so much energy with those putback dunks. I actually thought that the Hawks missed out on so many opportunities. Like, I think that could have been like a 12, 14 point win. Like, they blew a bunch of open layups. They missed a ton of open threes. And not only just in the fourth quarter or the third quarter, like to start off the game, my first thought, honestly, after like about 4 or 5 minutes was, man, the Hawks just blew a ton of opportunities where they could have gained momentum and really, rode the beginning of this game out, because they were missing wide open threes. I think Trae started out struggling a bit, but I did ask on Twitter if anyone had any questions that they wanted to see answered in the pod. So for your Lakers talk during this, Manuel 513 Juan said, what should the Lakers do this offseason? So anything you say is going to fall under that. So there you go. That is your freedom to talk Lakers. I woke up this morning and I saw, this isn't the first time this has been mentioned, people want a Buddy Hield for Kyle Kuzma trade. Now, what do you think about that, Mike? And what do you think about that, Coop? Because who says no to that?
So it's very important to know that, like, this can't be a straight up swap, right? Like the money just doesn't work out. So
I'm actually kind of confused by that based on the offseason, because first of all, Kuzma's contract becomes $13 million next year. Still doesn't completely work, but the Lakers lose a ton of salary off their books.
Yeah. Well, they
would
have
a lot of salary off their books.
So yeah, at least from my understanding, it would have to be something of the likes of Kyle Kuzma and Montrezl Harrell, go to the Kings, Lakers get back Buddy Hield. And I think this works out fantastically. This has been a very, popular rumor for quite some time. I believe I was making videos on this like last year. And the reason why it was such a popular rumor is because Kyle Kuzma's role with the Los Angeles Lakers has been sort of diminished ever since the arrival of Anthony Davis. And his only other head coach, aside from Frank Vogel, is Luke Walton, who currently coaches the Sacramento Kings, who's had
can't believe he keeps getting jobs. Sorry.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think in the Sacramento Kings case, like, Luke Walton might be a good fit, but I mean, not a good fit, but a good get, I suppose. At the end of the day, when you got Vlade Divac running the show, that's going to be like, that entire situation's going to be a shit show until they figure out, at least they get rid of him. But anyways, it works out because Buddy Hield brings something that the Lakers need, a guy that could be depended upon occasionally for volume scoring. He really doesn't like it in Sacramento. He's been in the doghouse a couple of times. Multiple players don't like it in Sacramento, by the way. Not only Buddy Hield, but Marvin Bagley doesn't like it in Sacramento either. But on top of that, Buddy Hield is kind of expendable with the emergence of Tyrese Halliburton. Kyle Kuzma gets to go back to a place where he's experienced the most success with Luke Walton. He might emerge into that 18 points per game, 19 points per game scorer that he was in the beginning of his career as a rookie. So I think it's a home run for both sides. Laker fans are, I know as a Laker fan, like, thank you for your contributions, Kyle Kuzma. You know, I really liked rooting for him when we were rebuilding, but I don't think he fits. It's a very awkward fit currently. And he's won a championship. He's blown up his Instagram, and now he can move on to Sacramento where he can get some meaningful minutes.
Yeah.
As a Pelicans fan with some of the Lakers picks, send that trade through right now. You want to pay Buddy Hield $24 million per year? Do it.
I think his
Don't
deal
be afraid.
his deal actually goes down per year. Like he makes.
Oh, it goes down to 18. It goes down to 18. You want to pay Buddy 18? Do it. No problems here. You're going to tie up a lot of your cap in Buddy Hield. I think he's a good player, not being utilized in Sacramento. I'm in a weird spot because I actually think it would help out the Lakers, but at the same time, like to like play the advocate, like you tying up that much cap with Buddy, who is a poor defender, who's not a passer, but you got LeBron, you know, you really don't need a passer. But the Lakers still have a concern at point guard. Like, what are you going to do at point guard? If you pay Buddy, are you going to be able to go out and get another competent point guard? Because I'm not sure what your second unit or if you're stagnating minutes, I'm not sure what your team's going to look like with Buddy Hield and Anthony Davis running the offense. It sure didn't work in New Orleans. No, I'm joking. Obviously, you know, Buddy was a rookie. But I love it and I hate it at the same time, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
I'll say first of all, this like definitely, like Mike said, it does not work straight up. If Montrezl Harrell opts in, then yeah, that would work. So we're just assuming, like, let's just say, like, let's assume that they can make it work trade wise. I definitely agree with Mike in terms of, I think it's a win for both sides. Now, who are you gonna pay point guard wise? The thing is, this trade doesn't have to go through right away. Like, you could find a point guard before this, you know, like, I mean, how much money do the Lakers have in free agency?
Here, let me pull it up.
Because you could sign someone and then pull this trade off later off in the offseason. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, at the same time, here's the issue. It's not like this year's free agency has a robust like point guard market. You know, you have players like Mike Conley, Kyle Lowry, Dennis Schroeder, Dante Exum, Derrick Rose.
Which is why if you tie up money, you're not going to be able to go get a point guard later. Like, if you're Los Angeles, you want to do better than Buddy Hield. Like, I'm sure you're thinking you're going out and getting Bradley Beal, Damian Lillard, you know, somebody that really moves the needle. I mean, like the Lakers need a third guy. And, you know, I'm not sure Buddy Hield is the third guy for any team in the NBA. You know, no offense. And I know the Lakers are great, and I know they'd have two of the best players in the association running the show. But, you know, I'm not sure I mean, he's not even the third guy for the Kings, really. Like, I mean, I guess he might be the third guy for the Kings. But, I mean, like, that's not great, man.
The thing is, Buddy is, like, such a crazy good shooter. Like, I just want to see him out of Sacramento. Because, like, I mean, the man shoots, around 40% from three, shooting over 10 threes a game. So, I mean, he definitely helps the Lakers a ton in that regard in terms of spot up shooting. I mean, you're right in which you got to be careful with Kuzma because, yeah, I mean, you're giving up that, like, yeah, if you trade Kuzma for Buddy Hield, then you better be damn sure that Buddy Hield's the answer. But I also don't see how they would get a guy like Bradley Beal. Like, where's the path to that?
So here's another issue. You trade Kuzma, and then you have this huge hole at the center. I mean, at the power forward position. And it's not like the power forwards this year are that robust either. I guess maybe like James Johnson or Kelly Olynyk.
James Johnson.
Kelly, I mean, James Johnson.
Anthony Davis and LeBron James are your power forward. One of the two.
Yeah. Well,
you need depth. You still need depth.
Yeah, like.
Well, yeah, but I mean, he's talking about like
Anthony,
a starter.
I mean, no, I mean like Anthony. I'm talking about depth. You know, you're replacing.
If AD's a center, then LeBron's playing power forward. That's what I'm doing for sure next year if I'm the
No,
Lakers.
I'm not talking about the starting five. I'm talking about like off the bench. So, I mean, at the end of the day, I think there are way better potential trades the Lakers can make.
Yes.
You know, I have my own pipe dream trades. You know, my biggest one being.
All right, wait. I honestly, I'm not
wanted to
sure
hear
that
it.
there are better. That's here. See, now that this is where I don't think there are. How many potential trades are there that the Lakers can make that are that much better? Honestly,
I mean,
like, what's your pipe? Because these pipe dream trades are what Lakers fans think are realistic, and the rest of the NBA is going, no, absolutely not.
Bro.
Also, I cannot wait until the Chicago Bulls sign Taylor Horton-Tucker away from you guys.
Yeah, and you guys might crack the play-in tournament that year, so I'm rooting for you guys. But
I mean, we're not the large market in the NBA that gets every free agent.
whoa! Chicago's not a large
Chicago's
market.
a pretty big market, bro. I don't
What?
know.
We
I
don't
know.
get free agents. Literally, the Lakers get everyone.
We were talking market, bro. It's a big market, bro. Like,
Yeah, we're also
Yeah.
LA with every celebrity and every freaking where everyone wants to play.
Oh, you guys got Kanye West, like.
Also, you know what? Also, no. I'm gonna. Also, Lakers just struggled for like 10 years straight, and all Mike does is bitch about, oh my god, the struggle. Then suddenly I go, oh, can't wait to sign Taylor Horton-Tucker, and he goes, oh yeah, good luck in the play-in tournament.
that brother's down bad.
And then also, you know what? Let's not forget you calling out LeBron James himself. And going, win me a half of playoff basketball the year after he wins you a championship.
I mean, bro.
Just take a moment and take in that his offseason dream is Talon Horton-Tucker. You don't have to say anything right now.
My offseason dream is that we somehow keep our pick. That's my offseason dream.
That guy's down bad. Like,
Yeah, that's down bad. We're fucking. We are fucked. Oh my god.
it could be worse. It could be worse.
I mean, we got Vooch, we got Levine, but you know, I mean, losing that pick, that hurts. That's gonna hurt.
So like, I mean, if I'm the Lakers, there's just so many question marks as to like how this offseason could go. You know, like what's going to happen with Andre Drummond? What's going to happen with Dennis Schroeder? What's going to happen with Alex Caruso, which I think currently is like the only guy that I can actually see us retaining at this point. There's so many, I mean, currently, like without it sounding like anything crazy.
Yeah, you're right.
You know?
Right. My bad.
Honestly, I think I'm not gonna lie. All right, like we talked about Kuzma, it's over. The Lakers, we're done for this pod. No joke.
No, but I got a question. I just want one question. One question. Do you want to pay Caruso, Flight Mike? Do you actually like want to pay him like $15 million per year?
Yeah, just yes or no. Honestly, just yes or no. We have to move on.
No, not $15 million.
Okay. All right. Dimitri_M3 is, if Damian Lillard were to leave Portland, where's the number one place you'd want him to be and why?
Are you ready for this? Are you ready for this?
Easy.
New York
The
Knicks.
Lakers! Woo!
New York. Boo. No. Hell. What? Hey, man.
Dude, honestly, give the Knicks fans something. All right.
They just made the playoffs, bro. Give Pelicans fans something.
I mean, who are you giving up for him?
What are you talking about? We have like 10 picks. We give up Brandon Ingram for him. Like, what do we?
You give up Brandon Ingram for him?
For Damian Lillard, easy.
Okay, I mean, if you give up Brandon Ingram, then congrats, you got him. I think you got him. Here's my thing with the Damian Lillard, any trade. I think he's racked up so much like loyalty points, I would say, in Portland, where I don't think they're shipping him to somewhere like New Orleans or New York or something like that. I think
unless he wants to go there.
Unless he wants to go there, yeah, of course. But like, I think he is probably, it's gonna be one of those situations where he kind of has a list and they just try to work off that list, because if not, like if they did, just cutthroat trade him for like, to like the Hornets or something, like, that would I think that would be really, really bad, like such a bad look for their organization. Like, and players remember that.
It would have to be a team that, in my opinion, like something very similar to the CP3 trade, like it would have to be a team that is literally a point guard away from contention. So
whoa, I see what you're saying, and that's why I also think the Pelicans would be in like a great spot. I mean, I think Dame and Zion, like all like homerism aside, I think that's enough to get you into contention with the right role players. And the Pelicans have some pretty good role players, you know. So I don't know, you know, they still have Adams, they got Nikhil, they got Kyra. They just, you know, I don't know, man. I don't know.
I sense a little Homer is
I say
maybe in like 2 years, dog, but not right.
Who's stopping? You know, Zion basically averaged 30 points per game in his second season. Who's stopping Dame and Zion?
I love Zion, and I think
but
he's
who's
amazing.
stopping a Dame and Zion pick and roll? It's impossible to stop.
You have to have other players on your team. You just
Jackson Hayes, Nikhil Alexander-Walker, Steven.
Solid player. Like Steven. First of all, as soon as you mention Steven Adams, you're betraying yourself.
I don't believe in Steven, but with on the right team with the right coach, I actually think he could be a solid.
If you go on the right team, like maintaining himself on, that's going. All
right. So I could see Dame getting traded to the Dallas Mavericks if the package is right for him. Or I could see him getting traded to the Philadelphia 76ers if the Sixers are willing to give up Ben Simmons.
That might be. See, that's possible. That would be. Whew. Now, my question is: do if let's say you did Mavericks or let's say you did Sixers or whatever, or if you're the Blazers, you're trying to just blow it up at this point, right? Because are you doing this a 3-team deal? You're trying to send Ben Simmons somewhere else and get young guys in return. Because
I would take the Sam. Yeah.
I wouldn't see any point in taking Ben Simmons. Yeah,
exactly. So I mean, I don't know.
What I'm saying is, I think we could see a 3-team deal coming because I could see like Dame Lillard's value so high. I mean, tremendously high. So if you trade for someone like that,
the 76, who would want the 76ers picks? Like who would want picks?
I think that's why I think it would be like a Ben Simmons kind of deal where Ben Simmons now goes somewhere else. Young guys get sent over to Portland. So, But
you'd rather Ben Simmons in picks than Brandon Ingram in a ton of picks?
I'm just saying, like, hypothetically, let's say you're going with, like, I don't even know, like, what team. Like, I mean, let's say you're building around, like, a young, like, I'm just saying a collection of young talent I think would be sent probably in a 3-way deal. I don't, because I think Dame is, like I said, I think he's going to want to play for a contender for sure. Like he wants to win a championship. So if he does leave Portland, which not saying he is, Portland fans are going to jump down our throats for even mentioning the fact they're going to be like, leave him alone. We never said he was leaving. We literally are answering a question, where would he go if he were to leave Portland? But I think it would be a 3-team deal.
For one, I don't want to trade Brandon Ingram honestly at all. That's just me podcasting. But for 2, I think the Warriors. That'd
be interesting.
For Dame.
Yeah,
I think that might be one of the best pack. Yeah.
That would be so interesting. That would be oh my god, that would be so interesting.
I think that's like Dame's dream scenario because he's from Oakland too.
That would be nuts, bro.
And the Warriors probably, in my opinion, like they're the number 1 contender to get any trade target they want this offseason. They can match the salary cap with Andrew Wiggins. If that Timberwolves pick falls to them, then, and it looks like it probably will, they could offer that up as well. They could offer James Wiseman. There's they could construct a really nice trade package around those assets and get either Bradley Beal or Dame.
Absolutely. Yeah, for sure. And that's a contender. That would be amazing. Would love to see it. All right. And then third and final question, guys. Also, I tweeted this out. We have a place for you to ask us questions. It's called onlylacedupfans@gmail.com. Message us there or send us videos. If you send us video questions, you will be featured on the pod. Would love to see it. So our third and final question is going to come from Malik Beastly 25. And he said, scariest team coming into next season. So instead of just scariest, let's go top 3 scariest.
Ooh, that's tough. If they're fully healthy, by default, I'm putting the Warriors there. And the Brooklyn Nets, obviously. If
We're putting
they're
the
fully
Warriors
healthy.
over.
No, not in any
fully-
order. I'm going 3-2-1.
Okay.
So
I got Denver Nuggets.
Yeah, actually, that's good. 3 being the Warriors. I want my list to be a little bit different from you. 3 being the Warriors.
Okay, let me think. So I'm gonna go. Of course, like you can't just not put the Nets. I mean,
yeah,
like,
of course.
it's like it's an automatic. So then I've got Nuggets, and then I'm gonna go. Let me think about this. I'm gonna go. I won't go Warriors right now because I could definitely see it because I think they'll make a move for sure.
Yeah.
But I'll wait for that move to happen and then put them there.
Just say the Lakers. You know you want to.
I honestly am like thinking a little bit Lakers. I think maybe it depends the offseason. That offseason depends so much.
Just do what I do.
Honestly see I could see the Lakers. I'm gonna go with the Lakers, and my reasoning is gonna be, I think
everybody's going to the Lakers.
I think that the Lakers are gonna go as all in as you can, as whatever they can do to go all in as possible. I think that's what they're doing next season because they're seeing LeBron be injured. You know, LeBron has been Iron Man, Superman, whatever you want to call him, for his entire career. They've seen him been injured. If I were them, I would be going, this is our year to win a championship. Not necessarily saying this is their last year, they're going to be in championship contention or, could win a championship or anything like that. But I'm targeting next year as let's go all in and let's get us a ring while LeBron is still LeBron.
So I have to ask, how will the Lakers be going all in? I want to hear this from your mouth.
By trading for Buddy Hield. All right, finally, me and Coop can just talk about that fucking Lakers bozo. But
so that's what you guys say when I'm not on camera. Y'all are the worst.
Kidding.
I got Warriors. I got Warriors, Nets, 76ers. That's my story.
Do you think
I'm sticking to it.
You think the 76ers are going to be the same team next year?
No, I think they make a move. Daryl Morey's super aggressive, especially if they don't win if they win a championship this year, they're one of the scariest by default. If they don't, Daryl Morey's like one of the most aggressive GMs I've ever seen.
Who's going? You think Ben? You think Tobias?
Moving? I maybe just a bunch of future first. I'm not sure.
Yeah,
I'm not sure. They do have young talent too, and Thibault could definitely get a bigger role somewhere else.
I would not.
So could
move
Maxey.
him. I would not. Move
so
him.
could Maxey. I know, but it's more we're talking about.
I would move Maxey. I would move Maxey. I would be. Thibault is looking like he could be like one of those Tony Allen all defensive team freaking eight times So I would move him. Have him just work on his jump shot all off season basically, and get him shooting 38% from 3, and man, that guy's gonna be scary. Perfect role player.
Get Daryl Morey on the pod. I feel like he'd be down.
Daryl Morey follows me on Twitter.
Yeah, me too. That's what I was saying. Okay.
All right. And so there we have it, guys. Again, if you have any questions for any of us, only lacedupfans@gmail.com or we could continue to tweet out if we don't have questions, but hit us up on Twitter. All of our Twitters, all of our social medias, are in this pod. You could see them. So hit us up, ask us questions. We'll save them for next week's pod. And any final words, guys? Anything you want to say about the playoffs? Anything coming up?
Bro, did you take a moment to think about what if we have a sponsor that wants to reach out to us and you tell them, yeah, you could just reach out to us by sending an email to only Laced Up Fans.
That's our subscriber email.
For Laceheads.
No, we can't call them Laceheads. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. Remember, subscribe. Remember, check us out, Apple, Spotify, and other than that, peace. If you're still here while the music is cued, here are 2 videos I think you are definitely going to enjoy. Make sure to click on one of them. Again, I know you're going to love it. And other than that, have a great day and peace.